You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show, heard live on 96.1 FM in Christian County and streamed live on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook page and WTIM TV on YouTube. Your guest this morning, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration, Jack Meyers. Great to have you back on the program, Jack, as always. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's great, always great to speak with you. Now, you are here to talk about a milestone for my Social Security.
That's right. You know, if you've heard me on the program in months past and years past, it's been a long time. And, you know, I've often talked about our website, socialsecurity.gov or ssa.gov, and all the great things that you can do there, all the services that you can complete with regard to Social Security, the information that you can find. But I've also talked a lot about what we call my Social Security accounts. And, you know, that's where you go to ssa.gov and you set up your own personal account where you can look at your earnings history. You can get estimates of your future benefits. In many cases, you can get a replacement Social Security card if you have a driver's license or state ID. If you're getting benefits from us, you can get letters that show how much your benefits are, which are very helpful for different purposes. You can get replacement 1099s for tax purposes with regard to Social Security. So just a lot of different things that you can do with these accounts. And, you know, the milestone that you mentioned is a fairly significant one. Recently, we hit 60 million of these accounts. So basically what that means is 60 million people have gone on to ssa.gov and set up their own My Social Security account. So really pretty proud of that. You know, I think it speaks volumes to just how helpful and popular that is. And so, you know, just a kind of a quick shout out to everybody who's created one. Thank you for that. I'm glad that you're doing that. And if you haven't already done it, maybe you should take a look. ssa.gov, My Social Security. Set up your account today.
What is that, like a sixth of the U.S. population that has created an account? My goodness.
It's pretty significant, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite a few people. If you consider 330 million is the population of the U.S. Not sure if that's changed or not, but 60 million is quite a bit.
Yeah, especially if you factor in that you have to be 18 or older to create the account.
Right, and so it's probably more than a sixth or a fifth. It's probably more like a quarter at least of eligible people who have made an account.
So yeah, we're pretty proud of that, and you know, I think it just, again, it speaks volumes to just how helpful and useful that info is. So, you know, if you haven't checked it out already, give it a shot. ssa.gov/myaccount, and you can set your account up today and you know, see your earnings history and then all those other benefits that I mentioned.
Now, it is open enrollment time for Medicare, and Part B is one of the topics that you're here to talk about. And it's special enrollment, talk about Medicare Part B and all the other stuff that goes on with Medicare.
Yeah, so, you know, there are a lot of different things that people need to be aware of when it comes to enrollment periods for Medicare and the different parts of Medicare. So right now, we're in an open enrollment period for the Medicare prescription drug plan. So, you know, if you wanted to make a change to your particular drug plan that you're in for prescriptions, you can do that now, and the change will be effective next year. But then there are also things to think about with the other parts of Medicare. So, you know, Medicare Part A covers hospitalization, inpatient stays. Medicare Part B is going to be what covers you, like if you go to a doctor visit or something like that. And so that's the one I want to focus on for a moment with regard to a couple different types of enrollment periods. Because, you know, if we focus on age-based Medicare, which is, you know, what you qualify for when you turn 65. There are different ways you can get Medicare. You can get it on the basis of disability if you get Social Security disability benefits after you've been on for 24 months, or even as soon as you go on, if you have a diagnosis of ALS. You can also get it if you have kidney failure that requires dialysis or a kidney transplant. So, point being, you could get Medicare at an earlier age than 65. However, if you don't have one of those disabling conditions or other issues that qualify you for the Medicare earlier, and when I say disabling condition, I also mean you have to be on Social Security disability. But if you don't have any of those types of things, then you would qualify for Medicare at age 65. And so for, the initial enrollment period, it's going to be 3 months before the month you turn 65, the month you turn 65, and 3 months after. So that's an important thing to be aware of. Most people are going to want to get signed up for Part B in that initial enrollment period, probably in the 3 months before the month that they turn 65. And another little wrinkle to be aware of is we consider you to attain your age the day before your birthday. So if you're born on the first day of the month, that shifts everything back a month because basically you attained age 65 the last day of the month prior. So keep that in mind. It doesn't apply obviously to the majority of people, but it's something out there that you have to be aware of if your birthday falls on the first. Okay, so that's initial enrollment period, and like I said, most people are going to want to get signed up in those first 3 months of their initial enrollment period prior to the month they turn 65. However, what if you're still working and you're covered by your group health plan? Or what if your spouse is still working and you're covered by their group health plan? In that situation, it might not really be that beneficial to you to sign up for Medicare Part B. And if that is your situation, it's okay. You don't have to sign up for Part B. You can get in later under what we call a special enrollment period because you chose not to take it at 65 because either you were still working and covered by your own group health plan, or your spouse or another family member was still working and you were covered by their active group health plan. So that's a special enrollment period. One thing to be aware of with that special enrollment period is that you can't get one of those until after your initial enrollment period is over. So remember, the initial enrollment period extends 3 months past the month that you attained age 65. And if you enroll later in that initial enrollment period, you may have a little bit of a gap. So the takeaway for that, because I know it's hard to keep all that stuff straight, but the takeaway that I want to offer there is if you are thinking about not taking Part B at 65 because you're still working and you just heard me talk about this special enrollment period, just understand that if something's likely to change with your work within 3 months of the month you turn 65, that you might want to take it at 65 because that special enrollment period might not necessarily work out for you.
Now, if somebody needs assistance with enrolling, how can they get that assistance?
So there are a few forms that you're going to need. So, basically, let's say you chose not to take the Part B at 65 and, a couple years went by and now you're thinking, okay, I'm still working, but I'd like to get into Part B because I think I'm going to retire. Or what happens a lot of times is people say, you know what, I can go at any time. I'm just not sure when I want to retire. But because I kind of want to retain that ability to just walk away at a moment's notice, I'm going to go ahead and get signed up for Medicare Part B now. And so if you want to do that, of course, you can get information on our website at ssa.gov. While you're there at the webpage, you're going to want to just look into Medicare. There's a specific URL where you can go to ssa.gov/benefits/Medicare, or you can just go to ssa.gov and then navigate our menu to the Medicare section. But once you get there, you can read all about these enrollment periods, and then you can also find the forms that you need. So if you've already signed up for Medicare Part A at 65, because Medicare Part A is free, and unless you're in a high deductible health plan with a health savings account, then it's probably a good idea to take the Part A at 65. So if you took Part A at 65 and deferred Part B, then later down the road when you want to get signed up, you're going to want to get a form 40B as in boy, and then there's a form for your employer to fill out. It's called a CMS L564. So both of those are available on our website. If you have questions, give us a call, 800-772-1213. We can email you links to those forms. So, we can help you through that process if you need it.
Talking with Jack Meyers. He's a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. More from Jack on the WTIM Morning Show in just a moment here on WTIM, your information station. Heard on the Big 870 across Central Illinois, 96.1 FM in Christian County, and streamed on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com's Facebook page and the WTIM TV YouTube. You're listening to WTIM, your information station.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network for this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn slightly lower. Beans and wheat also trading lower at this hour. December corn 5.36 3/4 down 1 1/4. March corn down 1.5 pennies. May corn 5.49 1/4 down 1 1/4. November beans down 2 1/4, 12.35. January beans down 2 1/4, and March beans also down 2 1/4. December wheat down 8, 7.51 1/2. March wheat down 7 3/4, 7.64. December bean meal 324.90 down 2.30. December bean oil down 63 cents at this hour. October live cattle 125.32. That's up 30 cents. October feeders unchanged 155.62, and December lean hogs at this hour 73.37. It's down 82 cents. A look at the markets on this Tuesday. I'm Jim Taylor, the RFD Radio
I'm
Network.
Sarah Van Huss, Assistant Vice President at People's Bank and Trust in Pana and Taylorville. People's Bank and Trust is proud of their longtime sponsorship of Taylorville High School Students of the Month on the many News Talk WTIM platforms on AM, FM, and online.
Hi, I'm Chip Hilchoff. I'm student of the month for the junior class. I'm in track and jazz band. I like to play the upright bass, and a little bit of the guitar. Hope to somehow make it in the music field someday.
People's Bank and Trust congratulates these Taylorville High School Students of the Month and wishes them the best in their continued education. We put people first at People's Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Cropland Seed is celebrating 25 seasons of gratitude, and our appreciation keeps growing. Every season has been a learning opportunity. So what have we discovered over the last 25 years? Just how grateful we are for the growers who trust their seasons to Cropland Seed. Putting your trust in our innovation and performance can help make your harvest a success. Talk to your Winfield United retailer today or learn more at cropland.com.
Hello, Panther fans. This is the voice of the Eastern Illinois University Panthers, Mike Brad, inviting all of our fans in Taylorville, Shelbyville, Effingham, and Eastern Illinois to listen for Panther football on your information station, WTIM, on its many platforms on AM, FM, and online. Hear the Panthers as they compete in the Ohio Valley Conference. Follow the Panthers this season on your information station, WTIM, on AM, FM, and online.
Welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show, heard live on 96.1 FM in Christian County and 107.5 FM in Shelby County. Your guest this morning, Jack Meyers. He's a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. Great to have you on the program, Jack. Now, let's shift gears away from the prior topic about applying for Part D and talk about a little bit about if you have a spouse who has benefits.
Yeah, that's a great thing to talk about. A lot of people wonder how Social Security spousal benefits work, or they don't know anything about them. So it's kind of a spectrum of knowledge there that we can address here. And, I guess what it kind of boils down to is if you are married and your spouse is collecting their Social Security retirement benefits, there is a possibility that you could also get something on their record as a spouse if you're at least 62. Now, I say possibility because there are a lot of things that go into that. One of the first things that we're going to look at is, are you eligible for Social Security retirement benefits on your own record? Because if your spouse is still alive, you have to collect your retirement benefits first, okay? So spousal eligibility is 50%. So, if I have a spouse and my spouse works, I'm eligible for up to 50% of my spouse's benefit amount, okay? So if my own is greater than 50% of my spouse's, then there's nothing that I'm going to be paid as a spouse. So that's kind of, how it's going to work. If your own is higher than half of your spouse's, you're just going to get your own first. But where this spousal benefit comes in is if you didn't work outside of the home, or if, maybe you didn't work all that much outside of the home, and so your own Social Security benefit is low, you may be able to get some additional money to get you up to 50% of your spouse's benefit. So, it can help. It's over the years that I've worked for Social Security, I don't have the statistics on this, but I would say anecdotally, we probably see fewer spousal claims these days than perhaps early in my career. And I think, a lot of that has to do with shifting dynamics. We don't have as many single income households as we once did, but certainly they're still out there, and this spousal benefit is still something that many people take advantage of. I mentioned early in the topic that, in order for you to receive, your spouse has to be collecting their Social Security benefits. That would not be the case if you're divorced, because there's also a possibility of a divorced spouse benefit. And in order to qualify for that, you had to have been married for at least 10 years prior to your divorce. Now, if you've been divorced for at least 2 and you're old enough and your spouse is also 62 or older, you could actually receive benefits on their record as a divorced spouse. But again, we're going to make that comparison. So if your own is greater than 50% of theirs, you're going to take your own, and you're not going to be eligible for anything on their record. And, before anybody gets concerned about that, because I know that topic can be a little bit disheartening for folks, just want you to understand that if even a current spouse or an ex-spouse were to draw off of your record, it does not affect your own Social Security benefits at all. So there's no negative impact to what you get as the wage earner or worker who's, building that record that they're drawing off of.
What is a Social Security award letter?
So, that's a good question. We get a lot of calls where people are asking for an award letter. I'm not sure that that's really what they want. An award letter is what you get when you first are approved for Social Security benefits. So it's going to tell you, that you've been approved, when your benefits are going to start, what type of benefit it is, how much money it's going to be. And so I think a lot of times people need something that shows what they get from Social Security. So maybe you've applied for some sort of energy assistance, or you've applied for something else where some sort of assistance or a loan, or anything like that, where they want to know how much you get each month from Social Security. So people will call us and they'll say, hey, I need an award letter. Well, if you've been on benefits for several years, that award letter is going to be pretty outdated, and that's probably not what you need. I can't say it's never what you need, because it could be, but I just want you to double check that and understand that you might need what's called a benefit verification, which is a letter that shows how much you get currently. And you can get a benefit verification through your My Social Security account at ssa.gov.
Any last words before you go here in the next 10 to 15 seconds?
If you can't get it that way and you want to get us, give us a call, 800-772-1213.
As always, great to have you on the WTIM Morning Show, Jack.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
He is Jack Meyers, a public affairs specialist with the Social Security Administration. Thank you for watching and listening to the WTIM Morning Show.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption